Our next guest used his convention speech here last night to welcome thousands of Democratic delegates to his home state. Tonight, we're welcoming to our Skybox set Senator Bob Casey of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, our host, or one of our hosts for the week. Senator, thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you guys. Thanks.
If I put you in a room with 12 Sanders supporters, not diehard Never Hillarys, but ones who are still unhappy, and you were going to make the case to them, what would you say?
Well, I think it'd be mostly about an economic case, a focus on the middle class. I mean, one thing Hillary said at the beginning of the campaign, and actually put it right on her website, she said the defining, and I'm paraphrasing somewhat, defining economic challenge is raising incomes for hardworking Americans. I think that's a place of a lot of unity, and I think it was a focus both of Hillary's campaign and Bernie's as well. So it'd be mostly about an economic message.
Do you think that there are two separate questions by the time we get to the end of this roll call, will we have actual unity, or will we have the perception of unity?
Well, I think we'll be well on the way to unity, but I think there's going to be some work after this. I don't think unity occurs at a magic moment in a convention. It'll take some work. And my sense of this, I don't have data to back it up, my sense of this is we're going to have to spend more time this summer focusing on younger voters, for example, as one group. But I think we'll get there. A lot of that is just drawing the contrast, which is, I think, plainly evident between the two candidates.
We just saw moments ago Senator Sanders' brother, who lives overseas, cast his vote. Democrats have voted for his brother, Bernie Sanders. The DNC, evidence now released pretty clearly that people at the DNC supported Hillary Clinton, favored her in the process. In real time, we saw Senator Sanders, Martin O'Malley asking for more debates, Hillary Clinton asking for fewer. She got her way. At this point, do you feel comfortable saying that, in fact, the DNC favored Hillary Clinton during the nomination process?
Well, I don't know enough about the content of the emails, but there's no question that there has to be accountability when you have those kinds of infractions or potential violations. But what we have to do now is focus on winning the general election.
So you don't know enough to say that the Democratic Party favored Hillary Clinton?
I mean, I haven't read enough, but the reporting seems to indicate that, but I haven't read enough.
Does that outrage you that your party would favor one candidate over others?
Well, it will outrage me if there's not accountability, but I think there's time to impose that kind of accountability.
What kind of things would you look for to say that's enough?
I don't know. That's up to the. I'm not a DNC mechanic. That's not my job. What I've got to do now is make sure that we go out and work hard to win Pennsylvania.
What do you? What do you?
And she will, by the way.
Yeah, you think?
I think she will.
Well, let's talk about that. There's been some that state is. You guys have had polling from your state that's shown a very, very close race, and polling that's shown that she's actually ahead by a healthy amount. Why are you as confident about Pennsylvania as you are?
Well, because of who the candidate is and who the candidate is on the other side. Our state is always relatively close. The last time the president won it by 5, so I would expect it to be close. But I think she'll win mostly because when I think undecided voters get to that basic choice, not just between the candidates, but I think the two overriding issues, economic security and national security, I think Hillary will do quite well. But it's going to be a battle. We've got to get ready.
In the end, do you think Donald Trump will do better in Pennsylvania than Mitt Romney did?
Slightly, but not enough to win.
Because why? Why is he more appealing to your voters than Mitt Romney was?
It may be because of his focus on the trade issue is one reason, and we still have to make sure that people know that there is a basic difference. I mean, you're talking about a candidate in terms of Trump who has no economic plan that I can point to that focuses on the fundamentals of what the middle class has been concerned about. And this idea that I think has been very elusive for both parties is how do you put together a strategy to raise wages? You know, the EPI, Economic Policy Institute study showing that after World War II, wages went up until the early 70s by 92%, 9% for the next 40 years. We're at the end of that 40 years. We have a challenge that we've got to meet.
You're a pretty good friend of President Obama's. You've played a fair amount of basketball with him at various times. Have you talked to him at all about how he's thinking about the speech he's going to give tomorrow night?
I have not. It's been a while since we've talked. The last time we talked earlier in the year was mostly about national security and those kinds of issues. But I think he'll figure it out. But I will say this. He's got a high bar to meet after the First Lady's speech last
Well,
night.
that's certainly true. But just talk about what you think the different things are that President Clinton and President Obama have to do for Hillary Clinton. What's the brief for each of them in their high-profile speeches these next 2 nights?
Well, I think for President Clinton, I hope, and I don't know this, but I hope that he would give a speech that's similar to what he gave on the road in Pennsylvania, in the primary, which was a validation of her, not just her service, but how she improved people's lives from the time she was a young advocate all the way to Secretary of State.